I've been on the internet since 1988. The web didn't come around until 96 in earnest, truthfully. So, I've been on there for a long time. I've been searching and researching within it. So my company now, what we do is we conduct online due diligence, online investigations, social media investigations, and then the key thing the last 5 years for us has been social media monitoring. Finding out where your brand, your name, which is ultimately your reputation, is traveling through social media unbeknownst to you. Now, the other thing we need to look at are items like videos inside of your facilities. They're not videotaping what you want to see. They're doing atrocious things to the equipment, themselves, and the food. And they're putting it on Vine, they're putting it on YouTube, they're putting it on Vimeo. And once that's there, and it starts spreading, there's a key there. Once it starts spreading, then you can't pull it back. But anything that hits social media, you have a 15-second lapse time. Okay, so if you have someone sitting there watching your social media with your brand name and certain keywords, it's called a taxonomy. I call it the naughty word list. So if we're looking for this stuff, and as soon as we get a ping that comes up and says, whoa, you know what, somebody just shot a video of themselves doing something naughty to the packaging, then you have the ability to reach out to that social media outlet and to have them pull it down before it starts spreading. Because once it starts spreading, you can have it pulled down from one, but it's going to pop up somewhere else, it's going to pop up somewhere else, and it's going to spread. Then we have our reality posters, and we're going to take a look at some of these things that we see out there. Now, I didn't pick particularly on the restaurant industry because I didn't want to name names here, but I did do some searches and some runs, and I found other places that are similar. This guy works for a manufacturing company. He's totally Jersey. I mean, he's got the Armani Exchange belt buckle and the black silk tie, and he's styling. And I like him because, he's got a good pose. He's got, I would call this an okay profile, nothing wrong. He works for a large German manufacturing company, and he's in the IT department. You say, well, that's an innocent picture, but not really, because behind him are the network schematics for his office. Now, this German manufacturing company, on par with Honeywell and Raytheon, makes things like maximum security prison systems. Gee whiz, I don't know, vessels we put the Navy on. Big company. If I can hack into that system, which I very easily can with a couple Microsoft exploits, and given the IP addresses, I could probably start downloading and gaining information on them. You say, well, it's not really the business we're in, but what damage can be done? Oh, I don't know, P.F. Chang's. What other restaurants and companies have been hurt? Salvation Army, Target. I'm going to be at Target Thursday. We're going to talk about this. Where's that data coming in? Because it's not just even your own employees anymore. It's not just the customers. I mean, that's real important. We definitely want to keep that as our #1 priority. But there are mechanized military units coming in from the Ukraine, China, and other Eastern European countries who are deliberately targeting your system because you hold valuable personal identifying information. You hold credit card worth of data. You hold a lot of stuff. So somebody's sitting there and their job is to try to hack into your restaurant to gain access to this information. Okay, what are some of the legal issues we can get confronted with? Because as we start looking up social media and we start saying, like, how are we going to be dealing with this, there are different laws. So we'll be seeing primarily, and I just sat on a panel, this was this entertainment group, and there were a couple lawyers sitting next to me, so they took 20 minutes of trying to absolve themselves of actually saying anything, and then they said something, and it wasn't really very good. Because what we all know to be true is it's still the Wild West. Legal issues are being made every day. I'm going to quote some laws for you so that you have something you can hang your hat on to go ahead and build your policies. But what we're finding is that these court systems are actually applying traditional laws, You could go out there and say all these terrible things about somebody, and if you say it in social media and it's hurtful, hateful, or will prevent them from, carrying forward on their job or anything else, that's libel, and we can apply that. The judge is taking into consideration anything and everything without their own privacy. And this was the one case you like to hang your hat on, Romano versus Steele case. So in this case particularly, Romano was an employee who went out on disability. She then went and entered and won several triathlons, 5Ks, 10Ks, all kinds of endurance sports. She posted all that on her Facebook page. Somebody at the company Steelcase saw that and said, hey, she's a fraud. So she shut down her Facebook account, but Steelcase was able to subpoena Facebook for that information. They presented it in court, and the judge says, you really have no expectation of privacy on Facebook. Even though they try to guarantee that your safety and your security is in place, there's too many loopholes. And if you want to keep it a secret, keep it a secret. So you've opened yourself up for this, and you indeed have lost your job. If you guys want to keep up on these legal issues, this is the site I recommend, because these are lawyers, I'm not. Social Media Law Update. They kind of come through, this is Shepherd and Mullen Law Firm, and they're constantly blogging about all the different laws that are happening, what's coming through, what we're seeing. So it's a great little resource that I like to keep up with. But the other side of it is policy is nothing more than the same type of parenting skills you have. You know, you set parameters and you have consequence. You set parameters and you have consequence. You can't, and this was a great example when we were talking the other day. One fellow said, hey, if we tell everyone, you can use Twitter, it's okay, but you can't talk about the company. You can't mention products, names, clients, or any of that. You know, you could, it's your own world, Twitter. But as soon as you start naming names for our company, we're going to call you on it. And if the CFO is the first one that does it, you're like, yeah, all right, let him slide. You've just broken your own parenting rules or your own policy management. So you got to be able to really snap, okay? You've got to be able to pull the trigger on it. So have your policy in place. Who are you going to write this policy and process with? HR, legal, and your security team. Somebody on your security team needs to have this knowledge. Somebody there needs to know, or loss prevention, you know, I put this all together. Somebody needs to know and understand the latest things in technology. All right, back to the searches. Here are the free ones. Everybody likes free. Biznar, biznar.com. Scaringly powerful. I could come in here and I can write Nancy Grace. My computer's probably going to blow up. Biznar is going through as much social media as it can grab. It's going through some deeper web stuff. It's breaking it all down, and it will send you alerts. We have companies, and I'm afraid because I didn't know what vendors are in there, I don't want to name names, but there are companies that are doing this for up to $10,000 to $12,000 a month. All right, same thing. Coca-Cola wants to know every time Coca-Cola wants to know every time Coke One gets mentioned, they hire this company and say, we want to see everywhere in the world that Coke One gets mentioned. Okay, that's $12,000 a month. I'm doing it for a couple keystrokes. So we go ahead and run Nancy Grace. Down the left-hand side, they'll actually do the breakdown. They're doing some analytical work for you. Do you want to see, you know, all the health, the words health, report, grace period, results, the Nancy Grace show, the specific venues that are talking about her? This goes beyond just social media. It also goes into the media, publications, publishers, dates, and then other keywords. She's actually too broad of a topic. We could look at everything, just the news, just research, social media. Now, as we're doing live searches, remember that this is live, so it might say that she's looks like Frankenberry. So here's WordPress posts, all the different social media stuff that's coming up, Facebook, LinkedIn, anywhere her name's getting mentioned. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to put your company name in there. All right, start off with the broadest search possible. Then, and I don't mean Yum Brands. Nobody goes onto social media and goes like, I really hate my job here at Yum Brands / Taco Bell. No, they say I work at Taco Bell. They probably don't even know the corporate name. So talk the language that the people that you're looking up speak. So I would come in here and I would do a search on Taco Bell, and then I would narrow it down and refine it. It gives me an option in here. And that's where I start adding one-offs, different words, like the big ones that have been coming up lately in my searches have dealt with the processing of the product behind the scenes. There's a couple keywords that are associated to that aren't very kind. So I would add those words in there to see who's doing the biggest talking. All right, that's my first free tool. You can set up alerts on this. Look at a big button over here that says set up an alert. And I can be alerted to everything being mentioned. The next free tool for you is going to be Social Mention. The reason I put out free sites is because they're very helpful. But you need to know that if you're, and you guys are, at the level of the company that you're at, you need some professional tools. So here are some of the companies that we subscribe to do this for our clients. iThreat.com, Vocus.com. I actually got this one from a loss prevention guy. It's a pretty nifty site. And my new favorite is Tiger Tracks.